You are listening to the Old School Movement podcast with Daz, Chris, and Steve. You understand?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Old School Movements podcast. My name's Daz.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Stax.
And you guys know that we love everything 80s, whether it's like films, fashion, but you know, we always talk about cartoons and action cartoons. Action-packed cartoons is a thing that we love. We always prop up and mention cartoons, but today we got a special treat for you, ladies and gentlemen, because on today's show, we've got one of the voices of one of the most phenomenal cartoons of the 80s. On the Old School Movements podcast today, we have Gary.
Touche.
On the podcast, we have Larry Kenney, who's voiced Lino from the Thundercats, ladies and gentlemen. Let me hear those horns.
Oh!
Well, thank you very much, Max and Tom and Gary. No, I'm Gary.
Yeah, you're Gary. Oh, no, you're Lino. Forget that.
Yeah, nice to be with you. We should probably mention that we were, when we first started talking, before we went, quote, on air, I messed up the guy's name, and they won't let me forget it. They refused
I'm not going to let you forget
to let it go. So they paid me back. Now we're even. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. We'll move on. We'll move on. So, Larry, you know, you voiced Lino, amazing character, but what made you want to get into voice acting? How did it start?
Well, it was a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Oh, wait, that's something else. Actually, you know, seriously, my mother tells me that from the time I could talk, basically, I was copying things on television, especially cartoons, you know, and that I was kind of mimicking their voices. And then I kept that up, you know, and then when I got to school, I discovered that if you could tell jokes and imitate famous voices, you know, or cartoon voices, the chicks loved that. They liked. So I said,
nice.
I think I found out what I'm going to do for a living.
That's life sorted out.
So what was the first voice that you practiced and mastered and said, yep, I'm showing this to the world?
It must be like the Mel Blanc, I would have thought, or you know.
Yes, exactly. That was my hero, you know, when I was growing up in the 50s, you know, 30 years before you guys were growing up at that same age. And in fact, I like to tell people at Comic-Cons, sometimes, you know, they'll say, thank you for coming here, you know, and I say, are you kidding me? Listen, I know how it feels, because when I was a kid, if I heard Mel Blanc was coming to town, or Dawes Butler, or, you know, Jay Ward, any of those great creators, I would have been the first one online too. You know, I would have spent overnight in ticket line, and I would have been there all 3 days because I was, you know, I was fascinated with those guys and ladies, and so I know, you know, I know what it's like, and I love it when I go to Comic-Cons and you get some of the reactions, you know, from people. Some people tear up, you know, because they say, you know, you were such a part of my childhood, and that means a lot to me. It really does. That's why I have a great feeling of pride in the legacy of Thundercats and Silverhawks and the other things that I've done, and it's because of that. Because I know what it means to people, you know.
So you mentioned Silverhawks, but we mainly know you for Thundercats in the UK because Silverhawks didn't come out in the UK on television, so we're not familiar with that. But we know you've done like computer games as well, like Red Dawn Redemption 2 and so on and so forth.
GTA.
And Grand Theft Auto and so on. And you was also the bird for an American cereal with a Cocoa Puffs.
Yes. You don't have that over there. You don't get them over there, do you?
We don't get over there. No. And Count Chocula, were you?
Count Chocula, yes. Right. Frightfully delicious cereal, you know. But don't eat it. It'll kill you. Like
it sounds like the one off of Sesame Street. One.
Oh, hey, pretty good. Yeah, that's right. The Count from Sesame Street. Yeah. But you know what? I always, in the back of my mind, when I was a little kid, it's hard to explain to people, but when I would watch cartoons or I would watch The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, you know, somehow in the back of my mind, I knew I was going to be a part of it. You know, and it's crazy.
Wow.
But
yeah.
And I didn't tell myself that I'm going to do that someday. I just, looking back now, I remember watching it not only as an observer, as a TV fan, you know, but thinking the whole time, what would I have done there? I would have made this joke. I would have done that.
Yeah. Already starting your craft from young, you know, like, you know, building.
Without even knowing it.
And here you are, like, you know, the whole world knows you. You know? The whole world knows your character. So the character that we're going to talk about now is Lionel. He was called Lionel before, wasn't he? But I didn't want it to sound like Lionel.
Apparently, yeah. And you know, I didn't know that until just a few years ago. And of course, the show was 35 years ago on TV. I didn't even know that until when somebody sent me a whole big bound notebook of Lionel, Thundercats stuff, original schematics, original scripts, you know, and things like that. And Lionel was called Lionel or Lionel. Yeah. And like I said, I didn't know it back then. I would have asked them back then. I would have asked the people at Rankin Bass, you know, why is it Lionel? Because in my mind, Superman, his real name was Kal-El. Remember? Yeah, Kal-El, and his father was Jor-El, or Marlon Brando. So I wonder if that's why they changed it, because of, you know, Lionel, Kal-El. I don't know.
I was thinking because I didn't want to get him confused with Lionel Richie. He's got the afro.
I was thinking that as well.
Skin tone, so it could have confused them. So they said, let's change it up.
You've obviously seen the memes, right, with Lionel?
Lionel Richie.
I
love that. Because I'm sure because Lionel always had a nice puffed out afro. I swear he had an afro comb in his claw glove. He had a slight afro comb, didn't he? Like every minute, I'll just comb my hair.
Had to carry it somewhere, right?
So what inspired you to bring Lionel to life? What kind of voice were you looking for Lionel's character?
Interesting question. If you think about it, the voices of the Thundercats in Thundercats, the actual, you know, the 5 Thundercats, were not, quote, cartoon voices. In fact, when I went to the audition, they told us, there were lots of people there, you know, and they auditioned probably 1,000 people in LA and New York. But they said, now for the Thundercats, Lionel and Tigra and Chitara, Panthro, we don't want, quote, cartoon voices. We want them just to sound like real people. So there was really no need to come up with a Lionel voice. It's just my voice. But
made it easy.
The difference is, while I'm sitting here talking to you guys, I'll say something like, you know, sword of omens come to my hand, I, Lionel, command it. But on TV, it comes out, sword of omens come to my hand, I, Lionel, command it. A little more dramatic.
Definitely.
But that's it was just my voice. Lionel was just my voice. And as a matter of fact, in 2011, when Warner Brothers, who had then bought the rights to the show, did a reboot. You guys remember the reboot? Did it come over there?
It briefly.
We got it was the one season.
Have a lot of episodes, did they?
No, and it didn't get advertised. A lot of people picked up on it a lot late after it came out, and by that time it was too late. One episode, but I thought it was drawn really well.
Yeah, I did too.
The voice. Yeah, you've done the voice to that. Yeah,
I did Claudius, Lionel's father, in that one.
Got you. Yeah.
And I thought it was a great series. I really thought it was going to click. You never know in this business, you know, it have all the right elements, great cast, great writing, great animation, great music, which we had all that for first Thundercats. And luckily that did click. But the 2011 one, I thought had most of the elements, but it didn't catch on. I think one of the reasons was, one of you fellas just said something about they didn't promote it very well. And the second thing, unfortunately, from what I heard, it's becoming more and more true in the industry, is the toys. The ratings were good on TV, but the toy sales were not so good. So they yank it. Which is a shame.
It is because it did have promise. It's a shame it didn't continue.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot
You
to
know?
compete with in these days. You know, got to compete with phones and stuff. So toys are hard to.
Yeah.
I would imagine hard to sell.
The interest
yeah.
ain't there. It's
Yeah.
electronic gadgets, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it never occurred to me until this minute, and I'm being honest about the toy thing. 'Cause it's always kind of broken my heart that would cancel a series. You know?
Yeah.
But if you think about it now, especially with the collectors, the incredible market in collecting things, you know, and selling. You go to Comic-Cons, you see rows and rows and rows of people selling the action figures and all that. So it's a big, big business now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess you need to sell more toys to infiltrate that particular.
Yeah, to adults. Yeah.
I think the generations change.
Because most of these
Generations
toys
yeah.
at Comic-Cons, they're not really to play with. They're just to put in ornaments, like to have like.
They're being bought by
stacked up.
the Generation X.
Yeah.
I go and buy my daughter, and she's got no interest. If it's not on a tablet on YouTube or not interested, it's totally changed. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. Childhood to change.
I know, it's a whole new world.
Back in the day, the toys made cartoon. You know, look at He-Man. He-Man, the toy came out before the cartoon, didn't it? It made the cartoon, whereas normally it was always the other way around. And it's such a shame, like you say, that because of the toy sales, they cancelled the series, and it did have promise. It did look good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Did you see the image of Lion-O before you voiced him then, or already seen?
Yeah, we
like,
did.
The image?
I did. Yeah. They showed us what he would look like. They had some not primitive but original drawings. You know, first of all, I went to the audition, and then when it's my turn to audition, they hand you drawings of all the characters, little synopsis, maybe a paragraph, what this guy's like or this gal's like, and then maybe a couple paragraphs about the show, you know, what it was going to be, because it's brand new. And then they said pick one Thundercat and one mutant. You know the mutants, right?
Yeah, the mutants.
Mumra's gang. Yeah.
My slaves, Jackalman and Monkey and the Thundercats. Yeah.
Hey, watch it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. As a matter of fact, I picked Lion-O because I figured the Lord of the Thundercats. He's the boss, you know. That's me. Yeah. And then for the mutant, I picked Jackalman. And for Lion-O, I didn't have to wonder what kind of a voice to do. You know, just do my voice.
Because it was just you.
And little old me.
Yeah.
But for Jackalman, I'm thinking, well, first of all, any actor will tell you whether it's an animated show or a movie or a play or whatever. Any actor loves to play the villain because you get to really go out there. You know, you get to really emote and as we say in the business, chew the scenery.
Yeah.
You get to, you know, I mean, Lion-O can do this and this, but Mumra gets to say, ancient spirits of evil.
Carry on.
You can really go for it. Yeah, you can really go for it.
But I liked the drawing of Jackalman that they had. So I think I'll do Jackalman. Now, what kind of a voice do I do? Well, to me, they were always kind of a sneaky, creepy, crafty kind of a, you know, like a wolf or a word. Yeah. So I thought, make him. And then suddenly I got this in my head. I started channeling an old show when I was a kid that I don't know if you guys got over there, but it was called Rocky and Bullwinkle. Adventures
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there was a character called Snidely Whiplash, if you recall.
I don't remember.
He was the prototype villain. He wore a big top hat, had a mustache like this.
I can
Hello now. I'm going to tie you to the railroad track.
So I thought that might work. That might work for Jackalman, you know. So that's what I did. I did. What the first line I did for the audition was,
"We must get the Thundercats." Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Love that. All the characters, all the voices were so distinctive in the Thundercats. Everybody, you could hear a voice go, "That's him, that's him, that's him," so on and so forth. But why didn't you choose Mum-Ra?
I've never been asked that question, and I don't know. I don't know why I didn't choose him. I just don't have an answer for you. I think I saw the picture of Jackalman first, and they had him drawn like, you know. So I said,
that's a good.
Mumra would have been fun to do, but you know, it turned out that Mumra was a very hard character to do. Earl Hammond, who portrayed him, he worked harder than anybody else in the series because, you know, 2 or 3 times an episode he was doing that ancient spirits of evil, and he would roar, you know, transform. And his sweat would be coming down his face, and you know, and you know, Mumra on screen, when he did all that, there would be this drool coming out of his mouth. Well, Earl did that. I mean, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but after about the first 2 or 3 tapings, whenever we saw that one of his lines coming up, where he was going to do that, we'd all go, we'd back up against the wall, and he would go, ancient spirits, and the stuff would be coming down his chin, and he would go, transform this decayed. We loved to watch it, but it was messy. I remember one time, the second season, I think, I brought in a big piece of clear plastic, about 20 feet long, like Gallagher, you know, Gallagher the comedian. And every time he had to do that, we all picked it up, put it in front of us. Like, do you have a living?
But that speech, that Mumra, that's the biggest.
That was my favorite. I love that bit.
Like, and it was so creepy as well. But they had that music behind it. They just hyped it into some creepiness. It was, it was big. It was big.
Yeah,
it was big.
I did play Mumra on the DVD box set. They came out with a DVD box set, and Earl had passed away by that time.
Right.
And they asked me if I would do just a little short Mumra for. It was like a lot of those DVD box sets. There are added features, you know. To them. Otherwise, why pay an extra $100? You know. And there was some kind of sort of, I think there was some kind of an interactive game for kids to play. And if they won, you know, Mumra would say, ancient spirits of evil, you won, you this and that and all that. So I did play him for a little bit. But Earl was...
You got to play him.
Yeah,
I got to play him,
Did you also voice Snarf as well?
I played, no, not Snarf, but I did play Snarf very briefly on Family Guy.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, there was.
Oh, okay.
Did you get Family Guy over there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be so naive. I haven't.
No. It's fine.
Long time.
Yeah.
We got a call from Seth MacFarlane. Yeah. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He had played Lionel on a couple of very brief Lionel appearances on Family Guy.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought he was pretty good, but for some reason he called us and said we'd like Larry to play Lionel in this little short bit we have coming up an episode. Yeah. So I did, and I don't know if you ever saw the episode, but it's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Peter Griffin, you see Peter Griffin, and one of the other people in the show, I think it's Quahog, what's his name?
Quagmire. Yeah. That's right. Giggity.
So they show them in a car driving in San Francisco. And at one point, Peter Griffin says, yeah, but you find a lot of unusual couples living together in this town, huh? And the very next, then they shoot to an interior scene with Lionel standing in the middle of an apartment. And he's just kind of staring off into space. And all of a sudden, Chitara comes walking up and she says, what's going on? He says, nothing. I got a bad feeling that Mumra is up to something. I'm not sure what it is. And she says, I'm going to the can. And she walks in the bathroom. Whereupon, Lionel takes the sword of omens, points it toward the bathroom door, and says, everybody,
sword of omens, give me sight, Beyond
sight.
That's wicked.
At which point, Snarf comes running by and says, "What you doing, Lionel?" Lionel says, "Huh? Oh, I just, you want to get stoned?"
Love it.
So I never played Snarf, but I did play a character called Snarf Egbert. Remember that at all? It was his uncle, or it was Snarf's uncle, or something like that.
Okay.
Snarf
Okay.
Egbert. Yeah.
I thought Eggbot was.
I thought that was Snarf's surname.
Uncle.
Yeah. That was his uncle.
His uncle. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
Because
do remember another one being in a couple of episodes.
yeah,
Like an uncle or a relative.
as well as doing Lionel, Larry, and you said you've done Jackalman, a bit of Snarf and so on. You also done Safari Joe as well, right?
Safari Joe, that's right. You got a problem with that, mate?
I used to like that character. I used to love that character.
And
He was
then
fun.
seeing Safari Joe kind of made me realize that you guys are on Earth because there's also humans. It's not everybody's an animal, a slice or a jackalman or a monkey, and it brought it home. That it was like a cartoon Planet of the Apes, but not just apes. There's every animal now.
That's
you can
right.
talk and run around and wear vests where you just show your abs like you did. But, but Safari Joe, was that someone that you chose?
Well, after the initial auditions and they decided who they wanted to play Lionel and Jackalman and all the other characters, then we started recording, and then more characters would be written into the show. You only record 13 shows originally and present it to a network. If they buy it, then you start,
Making more.
going like hell, right? Because the writers have to write new scripts, the animators have to animate new things, So and then they have to for the show to evolve. Of course, they have to add characters and situations. It's like any entertainment thing. So whenever a new character appeared, we would, in the studio as we were recording, the director would say, Lee Donecker, she'd say, who wants to show me what they can do with this character? And you would kind of audition again in the studio.
Yeah.
And then we would all decide amongst ourselves, he does it best. Let's let him do it. So all the voices you've heard in all 130 episodes, every voice was one of us 5 or 6 people.
Right.
So that was a lot of voices for each of us.
Yeah. And were you all in the studio together doing all this, like bouncing off each other and stuff?
Oh yeah.
We
were always all in the studio. Yeah. And it was so great. These days, they don't record things like that, I've been doing some work on Teen Titans Go over here. Again, I don't know if you get that.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been recording some episodes for them. And then we also did a new Thundercats, about 12 or 13 episodes. It was 15 minutes long on Cartoon Network. Okay. People over here hated it here. It was drawn differently.
Thundercats Raw.
It looked more like Teen Titans.
Oh, the Thundercats Raw.
Yeah.
Thundercats Roar. Yeah. I played Jaga in that one.
Yeah.
We all did lots of different characters.
Yeah. It's amazing, Larry. Every time you say Thundercats, you sound like Lino. I love it.
Well, I was on a TV show called Thundercats.
No.
Play. What are the Thundercats?
Isn't it? But the thing is, when you were in the studio, bouncing off each other, did you have the sword of Thundera in your hand? And did Panther have the nunchucks?
Was there any props going on?
Did you have the props?
No.
Get the feeling.
El Hyman with some nunchucks.
No, we didn't have any of that. We tried something unique, which was called acting. You don't need a prop.
Fair enough.
No, I can't imagine. I can't remember exactly how many times I had to hold my arm up like that with nothing in it and go, sword of omens, come to my hand. But no, you didn't have any props.
You wouldn't have felt better with a sword.
That's what we thought. We thought they might have a prop just to make you feel a bit.
Yeah.
Make you feel all powerful.
That might have. Yeah. I wish I'd thought of it back then. Of course, they hadn't made the swords yet, the toy swords. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, very true. Very true.
People ask me every once in a while, did you have to redo that Thundercats ho every time it showed up in the script? Good question, but yes, I did. Did
you?
People think
I would have thought
yes.
Yeah.
People think that they would take one and record it, get the best one, and then just zip it in there
that was
each
fresh
time.
every
But
time.
no,
Yeah.
They wanted me to do it every time. Yeah.
The recording would have been done to tape back then.
Oh yes.
So
exactly.
it's very difficult to just keep patching that in. Nowadays, not a problem, but back then in tape, you can't. You can't do that.
But your button, delete and it was a lot. Everything was a lot different back then.
So how did it when you were in the studio? So you had an episode where you had Safari Joe, Jackalman, and Lino. Would you do all of that at the same time, or record separately, or would you have like a conversation with yourself and bounce back and forward?
I personally enjoyed doing it and did do it every time in what we call real time.
Real time, yeah.
If I had a scene where Jackalman is talking with Lionel, I think all the rest of the actors, when they had that situation, of course, I had that situation more than everybody else because Lionel is
the lead
main guy and he's in more situations like that. But I liked to do it where it would be like, if this was a script, it would be like, Jackalman, what do you think you're doing here?
Well, Lionel, we came to see what you people are doing.
Get out of here right now.
We're not going,
I had more fun doing it that way.
It's a lot better, yeah.
I had more fun doing it that way.
And
I think it kept the flow better because when you edit, anytime you edit, it sounds like you guys know, you get some little different, like because you might have taken a breath differently than the other take, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And words might have sounded different. I just thought it was more fun to do it that way. So I always did it that way.
Yeah, it sounds so natural. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a real talent. To be able to do that, that's amazing.
So Larry, tell us, when did you realize that Thundercats was a big hit? Or did you realize Thundercats was going to be a big hit?
I had a moment when it really hit me. First of all, in this business, whether it's animated TV show or another kind of TV show, a movie or whatever, when you're producing it, you never know what's, when we started doing Thundercats, after a few shows, like we would go to lunch and then amongst ourselves, the actors, say, this is a well-written show. It's, it's good. And then we saw the animation coming back, and that because you do the voice first and then animate to that, We said, wow, this is good animation. And then as soon as we heard the music, we went, oh man, remember that music?
Oh, mate.
It catches you straight away, doesn't it? It catches you.
What do you think of that tune, Larry?
Oh, it's great.
When you hear that, do the hairs in the back of your neck stand?
All the way.
Yeah, well, it makes you just go, whoa, because that was never heard on cartoons before, that heavy metal music, that guitar.
Yeah.
So we were starting to say things like, I think this show could do well, I think. And then 13 weeks would go by and we got upped, renewed for another 26 weeks. And one day, about a week before Christmas, 2 weeks before Christmas, probably in the middle of season 2, I don't know, I walked into a Toys R Us store, huge toy store, and Christmas shopping. And the last time I had been there, and I walked to this one section where all the action figures were, and there was a whole row of He-Man and a whole row of probably Ninja Turtles, the ones that were popular in the day. This day when I walked in, I looked and there were 3 aisles, both sides of the aisle, of all Thundercat stuff. And I said, my God, this show is a hit. This show is big. And you'll love this story. And it's true, I swear.
Yeah.
I'm walking along and I pass, go around the corner, and this is where they got all the Thundercats action figures. And these 2 little boys, maybe 10 and 8, are looking at them, And I heard this one kid say, I'm going to get Panthro. He's the coolest one. The other kid says, nah, Tiger is the best. I'm going to get Tiger. Well, I couldn't help myself, So I said, hey, guys, why don't you get Lionel? He's the one that says, Thundercats. Ho! And they looked at me like probably like I was a pedophile or something. So I just walked away. But I got about 3 steps, and I heard the one kid say to the other one, "He didn't even sound like a lion."
Only they knew.
And that's what I thought. I thought you little bastard, if you only knew.
Don't you know I'm Lord of Fundera? You bastard, you little fucker.
Don't write me for a goddamn picture, okay?
I hope they hear this now and think, man, that was him. That was him that day.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know, I've always hoped, and I still hope, that someday at a Comic-Con or somewhere, somebody's going to come up to me and say, do you remember Toys? I was one of those kids. I think that would be the greatest thing.
But I wanted to buy Panthro.
Yeah. Speaking of Panthro, what I love about the music, what I love about the Thundercats music, that Panthro and the Tank had a theme tune. Just for that. And I remember watching it and going, hold on, this is a Mr. T moment.
He was like the Mr. T of the Thundercats.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, mate, this Tank, this Panthro was a bad man. In those days, they always had a message at the end, like, make sure you kids drink milk or something, whatever they would say at the end. Like, but it was like He-Man and Master of the Universe and Thundercats, it was like they were having a battle of who could send the best message at the end. And who could have the best strain sentence. Do you remember the strain sentence, Larry, when you go, I must move my leg. I can just do. He-Man and you both did that. Like, who was the best at stalling sentences? If I could just lift this rock.
Me.
Without doubt.
They loved, the rest of the cats loved it every time I had to go, Panthro, Chitara, my leg. I can't move.
I love that. That is to hear both of you like compete. You like battle rappers. You was like challenging for that style. I loved it. But you did always come up on top, Lido. Big up.
Larry, is it right? I heard that that psychologists used to read scripts to make sure there was their messages in there for you to get across to kids. Is that right?
That is true. That is true. The reason for that is, at one point back in the late 70s, a group of people in the United States a woman started a group called the Committee for Nonviolence in Youth Programming, something like that, you know, because there had been a lot of talk had been going around about the violence in cartoons and the overselling of the toys and all that kind of stuff. And this movement became even larger. So that's why really Thundercats came about, because Jules Rankin and Arthur Bass and their people, Rankin Bass, decided let's make a cartoon show that addresses those issues. That's why the Thundercats were never going around starting fights and killing people and all that kind of stuff. They would always give the other guy, even Mum-Ra, a chance to do the right thing, which he wouldn't, and then they'd have to kick his ass, you know. But initially, they would give him the chance at least. So that's how it came. Yeah, but there actually was, I think it was 2 or 3 child psychologists who read every script, and of course, I wasn't privy to. I wasn't there with them when they did it, or I know for a fact they did have those people, but I don't know how the discussions went or anything like that. But they would decide probably shouldn't use this scene or do that. You know? Yeah.
You're saying that it's strange then why they gave Lion-O a sword of omens, because you know you used to be able to fire lightning or whatever out of it, but you'd never see him slash anyone. You'd never see him, you know, use it as a sword. So it's funny why they gave him such a weapon as a sword.
Interesting point.
But then that would appeal to boys, though, isn't it? Because you know, boys are always gonna, like, especially back then, it's a gun or a sword or
sure.
I suppose he had his claw thing as well. He had the glove, didn't he? He had the glove, which was like a big part.
The
of him
Afro-comb,
the Afro-comb stuck in the back.
Yeah. As I recall, and it's been a long time, but Lion-O would use the force of the sword maybe to, like, I don't know, dislodge a big boulder that would stop them in their tracks or something like that.
Pick something up, move something.
More of a handy tool than a weapon.
That's how I remember it. Yeah.
A good screwdriver. Yeah. So are you still doing voices for cartoons now? Is it?
Yes, I've done. Last week I did a couple of episodes of Teen Titans Go. I think I played a character named the Chief, and that's the only animated series I'm working on right now. I'm still doing commercials. Has always been my main thing. Lots and lots of commercials. Count Chocula, Cocoa Puffs. Yeah. Do you have Skittles candy over there? Skittles?
Yep. I was going to ask you about that.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah. I'm the guy at the end. Feel the rainbow, taste the rainbow.
Yep, that's it. Love that. I love that.
Yeah, that did make it a growth.
Love the Skittles adverts.
It's funny because it's very rare in the voiceover business when you keep an account for more than a few years. You'll do all the commercials for some company for a few years, and then they change their direction of their advertising or whatever. And you say, well, that was a good run, 3 years. Count Chocula and Cocoa Puffs, both I did for almost 40 years. Wow. For 38 and 39 years I did those two. And even today, I still have Skittles I've been doing for, I think, 22 years.
Wow.
So I'm very proud of that.
You must have a cupboard full of Skittles and a cupboard full of Cocoa Pops cereals, like all around your house. You would never run out. Amazing. Do you remember the scene, Larry, in Thundercats when Slife Jackalman and Munkin were surrounding Lino, and they wanted to get the Sword of Omens, and Lino wanted to call the rest of the Thundercats, but Munkin covered his mouth, and then he eventually got to say ho. You remember that episode?
I don't remember that. No.
Oh, okay. I wanted to reenact that with you just right now.
Listen, we can do that. I don't remember offhand, but
all you have to say when I finish talking, is Thundercats, ho. When I finish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do the Slife and Munkin, and you come in with Lino. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
The sword. Feast the sword.
Where? That's what we're trying to do.
Thundercats. Oh!
The Thundercats, they're loose.
That's great. I love it.
Oh my God.
Thank
you. I've lived out a childhood dream now with Lino. I've done a scene with Lino. Thank you, Larry.
That was good.
That
was very good.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a good sport. Thank you for being on this podcast. As Stax just said, you're an absolute star, Larry. You are a friend for life now. I'm sorry, you're stuck with us for life. We're going to be your pals, and that's that. Larry,
it's always nice to make new friends, guys.
It is always nice to make new friends. Maybe we can be the new Thundercats, but I'm not going to be Chitara.
But I don't know, man. You'd look awfully good in that leotard.
Yeah,
have you seen the trainers, Larry? Have you seen the Thundercat trainers that Puma has just launched?
Oh yes, I just saw that yesterday.
I saw them recently as well. I took some shots just in case you hadn't, man. They're quite cool.
Yeah,
they're quite good.
And they have a Chitara one too.
Yeah, the Chitara ones are really good. They're probably the nicest ones out the bunch. Ooh. That's cool to see something back again of Thundercat. I don't think they're going to be released over here, but they're really cool anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody commented on the post that I saw on Facebook with that picture. Said, "Nice, but why do they have to be Pumas?"
Well, hey, it's Thundercats. It works.
It makes sense.
That's right.
I think that's half the reason.
It just works.
A puma's a cat, right?
Yeah, exactly. But as I say, Larry, thank you again. You don't know how much this means to us. You don't know how much we've enjoyed doing this podcast and talking with you. It's been an honor, guys.
Massive honor, yeah. It's great to have
you. Thank you all. I've enjoyed it.
Yes,
I've enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Maybe we do it again sometime, all right?
Definitely.
A Comic-Con in London, maybe we'll meet up one time. If you ever make it over to London,
I hope so.
Let us know. We'll meet up, definitely.
Okay. But can I just thank all the fans in London and the UK who watch Thundercats and Silverhawks and all that. If you hadn't watched, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to these idiots. You know what I mean? You understand?
You understand?
Larry,
I got a new one now. Is that a big phrase? Is that a big phrase?
it's just a catchphrase. This is a catchphrase that we say on the podcast.
You understand?
Yeah, you understand.
Yeah, it's just like we say.
You understand. Knock it off. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Goodbye, guys.
Great, Larry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Take care.
Larry. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Through the magic in the roar.
Thundercats are easy. That was good, guys. Larry Kenney, man. Larry Kenney, liner of Thundercats. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, we did. See you guys next time. Old School Movements. We out.
Peace.
Ho!
Duck walks into a bar. He says, you got any grapes? The bartender says, grapes? No, we don't have any grapes. This is a bar. Get the fuck out of here. Duck leaves. About an hour later, comes back and he says, you got any grapes? Guy says, no, I told you an hour ago. We don't have grapes here. Okay, we don't sell grapes. We don't use grapes. We don't give away grapes. You come back in here one more time and ask me for grapes, I'm gonna nail your web feet to the fucking floor. Duck leaves. An hour later, he comes back and he says to the guy, got any nails? The guy says, no. He says, you got any grapes?
Those were the days I remember.